Hey guys, welcome back to the Awesome Wrestling Podcast. I'm Frankie.
I'm Chris.
And we are Awesome Wrestling. And we're back here for episode 2 of the Awesome Wrestling Podcast. Last week was really fun. That was really fun. We just had like the introduction. We reviewed Raw, SmackDown, did some trivia, did Rebook It, showed you WrestleFest, showcased that. So yeah, now we're going to do basically the same thing we did last episode. We're still going to do the arcade. We got a new game this time.
Right.
I'm going to be asking Chris to rebook something this time. We'll be going over Raw and SmackDown, and then at the end of the video, we'll be telling you our top 3 moments of professional wrestling this week, like through Raw, SmackDown, even NXT if something.
Maybe AEW, who knows?
Yeah. And also, speaking of AEW, we went to AEW Full Gear last night.
We did.
Because we're recording this on a Sunday, but you guys are seeing it on Monday. So we went there last night. It was pretty... The show was... I
had fun.
Yeah, I had fun there. The show was alright, but I still had fun there. But I'll tell you what, those chicken fingers were amazing there.
Yeah.
That's
burgers,
the one
too.
Good thing.
Very good burgers.
Yeah, very good burgers, too. But yeah, it was pretty fun. And nothing, like, too exciting really happened. Like, nothing during, like, the main event. No surprises or anything.
We won't get into too much of that, because maybe something from that show might have made it onto our top 3 at the end.
Oh, maybe.
So... We'll get into that a little later.
Yeah, so now we're going to jump into talking about Raw, and then we're going to get into SmackDown. Alright guys, now we're going to start talking about Monday Night Raw from this week. And Chris is going to be looking at the results and telling us what's happening, and then we will tell you our thoughts on what happened. Alright, so
first,
off the show.
We kicked off with the Women's War Games became official.
Oh.
They had, who was it in the ring?
Liv. Raquel. Nia, or did Nia and Tiffany come out? Oh no, Liv and Raquel came out, and then they introduced Nia and Tiffany. And Candice, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So then Candice came out, and then who came out next? Just Bianca and Jade?
Bianca and Jade, and then Naomi.
Yeah, those 3.
And then Io Sky.
Yep. Which we saw last week, where they all came out.
And then they were kind of like, "Oh, you guys only have 4, we have 5. Who's your 5th?" I thought it
was gonna be Charlotte Flair.
Yeah, but, me too.
I did not. This is the last person I expected because I thought she was really hurt. It was Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
So I guess I don't know if she is hurt because she had the mask, the nose mask.
So she might have broke her nose, something like that she could wrestle through.
Yeah, so. Everybody always does that. A bunch of people wrestle with them.
I thought it was gonna be Becky Lynch.
Those were my 2 thoughts. I was thinking either Charlotte or Becky, but Rhea's cool. I mean, I feel like...
It makes the most sense with her chase on Liv in the world title and that whole storyline. So hopefully that'll pay off. Yeah, but I don't know, when do you think Rhea will beat her for the title? I hope they don't drag it out till WrestleMania, you know? Yeah,
and I've heard people talk about this, which I think would be an amazing idea. I think they're leading to Bianca versus Io at Mania. I think people are saying, Io might win the Rumble. I feel like that would be cool. But... They were also, I think maybe they lead to Rhea and Bianca, but I don't think Bianca should win the Rumble.
I think Bianca should fight Jade.
Oh yeah, never mind. Yeah, they should do that actually. But so they'll probably do Rhea versus Io. I feel like that would be cool. So maybe they'll stir the pot during the War Games match since they're on the same team.
So after War Games, the next segment was
Rhea. I just wanted to point this out. Sorry for cutting you off. Rhea also she did the War Games.
Yeah.
Like how William Regal did it, but she didn't do it as on point. She tried though. What happened next?
So next was Rey Mysterio and Zelina Vega against Chad Gable and Ivy Nile.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
And Rey Mysterio and Zelina won. Yeah,
it was just straightforward mixed tag match. Nothing really happened.
Yeah, they're kind of wasting Chad.
Yeah.
I think they've been wasting American made, but there's so many people on the roster that it's hard to get everybody at least they're on TV, I guess.
And at the end of the match, the Creed brothers came out.
Yep,
and
they did.
Chad, he got mad at him. He started slapping Julius and Brutus, and then I think Brutus started laughing at Julius, or maybe it was the other way around. And then they started pushing each other. And then they did their thing where they put their head against each other, and then they got hyped. So now I guess American Made's back on track. So even though they barely even won since they've come
they beat the Wyatts.
What?
That was it?
Yeah. Wait, did they? No, they didn't beat the Wyatts.
I thought they did.
No, Wyatts won every time, I think.
Jeez.
So I don't think...
No, they haven't done anything.
Yeah, they haven't won. Yeah, I think maybe they beat, I think they beat Alpha Academy a bunch of times.
Yeah.
But, no, real wins.
So following that, it was Finn and Dominic were backstage, and they had a lot of tension again. And
like last week.
Yep. And
oh yeah, I saw that. And didn't JD say he wanted to talk to Finn or something?
Yep.
I wonder what that's all about.
Another split in the Judgment Day.
Yeah,
I think it's coming.
So I think Finn and JD will definitely stay together.
Yeah.
But I don't know what Carlito's gonna do.
I guess he'll hang with Dominic.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're leading towards with the storyline, but
no, I don't think they do either.
Yeah.
It's kind of all over the place now.
Yeah, they did the exact same thing last year with Damian and Finn.
Yeah. So it made more sense last year.
I don't really know what they're gonna do with that.
I don't know. I have no idea.
I'm excited though.
Now we move on. It was Braun Breaker defended his Intercontinental title against Sheamus.
Oh yeah, that match was a banger. That was an amazing match. There were a couple of near falls there, and there was this one amazing kick out by Braun Breaker. Props to him. I thought that Sheamus was actually gonna win.
Yeah.
Hit him with the running knee. I don't think it was a bro kick. They hit him with the running knee, and it was 1, 2, and barely he kicked out. It was a 2.99 Roman Reigns type kick.
There was no finish because Ludwig Kaiser came out.
Ludwig Kaiser. And
I like it.
Yeah,
I think they should have a triple threat.
Yeah, I like Ludwig Kaiser. I was thinking of Ludwig Borga.
Yeah.
I like Ludwig Kaiser, but it's just that I feel like you could have I guess it's a way to keep Sheamus strong.
Yeah.
But that was such a good match. I just don't like when matches end in DQ. I just think the match should have an ending, you know?
Well, following that, there was the video package with Karrion Kross and The Miz.
Yeah.
And the Wyatt Six, that whole thing.
Yeah. And we'll talk about what happened to The Miz after that.
Yeah.
A little bit later.
After that, Kaiser and Gunther got into it.
Oh yeah, I saw that. They were arguing backstage.
Yep.
And Gunther was arguing with Kaiser, and he was like, "You stay out of my business. You go be your own man and show everybody what Ludwig Kaiser's all about." So, or no, that was before the match, I think. Yeah, that was before the Braun Breaker Sheamus match.
Oh.
Because he gave him that pep talk, and then he told him to, and then he did that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what happened. I don't really know. But yeah, so I guess Ludwig Kaiser's going on his own, and I guess Gunther's going to be all by himself. And I think they might lead to, if Gunther's going to start, being, close to losing now.
Yeah.
He's not going to be as dominant now because he said, get out of here, Ludwig.
Yep.
And now he also turned on Giovanni Vinci, so.
So also backstage, the Usos and Sami Zayn try to talk to Seth Rollins.
Yeah, that was a pretty good backstage segment because then they were last year, Sami said last year you teamed up with Cody Rhodes, the one guy that you hated.
Yeah.
And he said, why not do it again this year with Roman? And then he said, I'll team with you, Jimmy. I'll team with you, Jay. I'll team with you, Sammy. But I will not team with Roman Reigns. So, yeah, Seth doesn't want to be with the Bloodline, but
no.
We did figure out who the 5th member was on SmackDown.
We'll get to that.
Yes, we'll get to that.
All right, next match was War Raiders against Dom and Carlito.
I actually didn't watch that match. What happened during that match? Anything?
War Raiders won.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing really crazy.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Also, during that time, I know we talked about it last week, but the War Raiders came out, and then they went to commercial break. And then they came back, and then they had a video package about Dakota Kai.
Oh, yeah.
About how she wanted to, become champ
after
her injury.
That was a good video package. It was basically I'm back, and I'm not messing around now. I'm back better than ever.
And then also in the middle of all that, Bo Dallas warned The Miz that his hands will be stained blood red thanks to his actions.
He kidnapped The Miz again.
Yeah.
He said, whatever happens now is on you. I gave you a chance, and he basically said you spat in my face.
Yep.
So, I don't know what happened to Miz. I don't think he's going to get out as, I don't think he's going to get off the hook like he did last time when they kidnapped him. Because you can't fool Uncle Howdy twice.
No.
He's he's gonna have he probably did have a field day with The Miz.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see this upcoming Monday. What
I'm just looking forward to seeing the Wyatt Six back in action.
Good thing they're getting like something every week.
Yeah.
Because like they don't need to be like on like out.
No.
Like in the
ring they could do like Dexter and Joe Gacy in a tag team.
Yeah, that would be cool if they did that, like them versus AOP.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. But
it's always exciting when the Wyatt Six is on. You're always locked into the TV.
Yeah, definitely. So next it was Alpha Academy and Kofi and Xavier had a confrontation backstage.
Yeah.
They will be fighting on Monday, this upcoming Raw.
Really?
And
Alpha Academy? And
yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep. And then we got the main event was Bronson versus Seth.
That match was like, I mean, I don't know. It was like they were making it up to be like this big like big match like field.
Yeah.
But like it really wasn't anything special. They just kind of fought.
All it was for the new bloodline to come out and take out Seth and I guess plant the seeds thinking that Seth would
turn or just be with the bloodline.
Would be with Roman and those guys at Raw.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, it's Survivor Series.
So that's what happened. During like it was like actually like the beginning of the match, really.
Yeah.
The Jacob, Tamatanga, and Tongaloa came out, and then they got fought off by the Usos and Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
Do you think they're considered the Usos now?
They're always the Usos to me.
Do you think like because they never really said that they're like the Usos again?
No.
They're just kind of like brothers.
It's Jay Uso and his brother is what it is. But,
but I feel like that's kind of cool, you know? Like, they're not the Usos. They're just Jimmy and Jay, you know?
And that was it. So, what's your rating for Raw this week?
And also Solo helped. He basically kind of just distracted Seth.
Yeah.
Bronson won. And, Raw was pretty decent this week. I don't think it was as good as Raw last week. Raw was pretty good last week, but this week, it wasn't the best. Wait, are we doing it out of 5? Yeah, we're doing it out of 5. I'm gonna give it like a 2.5 out of 5. It wasn't the best, but they had some things on there. Definitely wasn't as good as last week.
I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5.
Yeah, I feel like that's
last week
too.
we gave it a 3.5.
Yeah,
it was a taped show, so it wasn't really
nothing special.
No surprises, no like big segments, I guess you could say.
So he gives it a 3, I give it a 2.5. Overall, Raw was okay.
Yeah.
It's like in the 2K ratings when you get the stars.
Yeah.
They have like
average.
Yeah, average.
It was average.
Yeah, it was an average show.
Nothing bad about it, but nothing like, oh my God, did you watch Raw? Like,
But so like I said, 2.5 and then a 3. So now let's jump into SmackDown. Alright guys, now we're moving on to the review on SmackDown. And I thought SmackDown was pretty good this week. But
always is.
Yeah, it's
never
always
disappoints.
Good.
SmackDown.
Yeah. All right, so you can carry it away. What happened in the beginning of the show?
Beginning of the show, the new bloodline came out.
Yeah.
They basically
with Bronson too
got booed out of the building.
Yeah.
Solo kind of just stood there soaking in the booze.
Yeah.
And then told Salt Lake City to acknowledge him.
And they did not.
And they did not acknowledge him. And then he wanted Roman Reigns to surrender tonight when he got to the arena.
And also, one thing I wanted to point out, there was the 3 Mario brothers in the crowd.
They weren't real happy with the bloodline.
No, let's just say that. They were like these 3 guys in the front row who had Mario hats on.
There was Mario, Luigi, and then one more. I think it was he dressed as Toad.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
So we go on to the first match. It was the women's U.S. title. It was Bianca, Chelsea Green, and Blair Davenport.
Man, we were getting hyped for this match. I really, really wanted Chelsea Green to win this match.
Yeah, I wanted Blair Davenport to win.
Yeah, every time one of them were about to get the pin, we were like, oh my God. But yeah.
And it was no knock on Bianca, but she obviously doesn't need the U.S. title.
Yeah, and she's going to be in War Games.
Yeah, and she's like... It's like, it reminded me, her being in that tournament reminded me when Roman Reigns was Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah.
It was kind of like,
so weird.
You know she's at the top of the division. She's probably the top star, on SmackDown. Mm-hmm. So why is she fighting in the undercard? Just to get, it made sense because then Jade got thrown into a car during the match, and she ran away. So that's the only reason why I think she was in the match.
Yeah, oh my God, when they cut backstage, Jade was like, oh my God, she was bleeding like crazy. She was like on the hood of a car. They didn't say who beat her up though, did they? And also, one more thing, they said that Jade won't be able to compete next week on SmackDown, so it's a mystery person. Who do you think it's going to be?
Well, maybe now it'll be Becky Lynch or Charlotte Flair. I don't know.
I think it's going to be Charlotte. I think they'll put Charlotte on SmackDown.
She's always been on SmackDown, too, I feel. Yeah, I know she's been on Raw sometimes, but...
she's a SmackDown.
Well, and also she's married to Andrade, and they keep the husband and wife together, so... Yeah, so she'll be on SmackDown.
You'd think that if Jade's not going to be there next week, she probably won't be in War Games either.
Yeah, I don't know.
So they'll probably have Charlotte in War Games.
Charlotte just completely replace Jade.
So I guess she is going to just Charlotte's just going to replace everything that Jade's been doing.
Yeah, which wouldn't be bad because Charlotte could do a moonsault off top of the cage.
Yeah, like she did last year.
Yeah.
It's almost been like a year.
Yeah, she got hurt in like early January.
No, it was like early December.
Yeah. I know it was right after Survivor Series.
Yeah, so what happened next?
LA Knight.
Yeah.
He came out, and in the introductions, Shinsuke cut his little promo.
Yeah, and he also said that LA Knight, he knows that he found his weaknesses. And stuff. So that's pretty cool. That's what he did with Seth too, where he found his back weakness. Yeah. And he said that he said to LA Knight, I know you're scared and you're
and I like it. Like we talked about last week, I like Shinsuke. I've always loved Shinsuke. I think he's been severely underused. But now that he's back, put him in a nice program with LA Knight in the US title.
Yeah. And did LA Knight? Oh yeah, he fought Santos.
Yeah, I was getting to that. Yeah, he fought Santos and beat him, and the crowd could care less for Santos, which is a shame because he's a really good worker. Yeah. But he's just not over.
Yeah. What happened next?
Next was Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes.
They had a face-to-face. They had a pretty good promo.
And Kevin cut probably one of the best promos I've ever seen.
Yeah, wait, why did I say pretty good? That was an amazing promo.
He just stood on top of the announcer's table and just...
He just spit.
It was the most justifiable heel turn ever.
Yeah, he didn't...
He laid it out.
He basically did nothing wrong.
He did nothing wrong. He got mad at Cody for teaming with Roman. Yeah. And then, Randy was in the way, and then he took out Randy. I don't know what it's going to lead to. I really hope that Kevin wins the title at some point. Yeah, but they did say that Kevin said he'd fight Cody just on his terms. Yeah. So that'll probably be at Saturday Night's Main Event. That'll be awesome.
But it was so weird. When he said all that, Cody tried to counter him, but what he said was you can't beat that. He tried to top it, being the good old baby face. But you cannot top that. No. And I also like the shirt that Kevin was wearing.
It was awesome. I like Cody's shirt, too.
Yeah, Cody's that was a really cool shirt. It was just the tie shirt.
Yeah, has, the tuxedo.
Yeah, the tuxedo shirt. And he was it's so funny, because he was wearing just a proper shirt when he was, yelling at a man who he hates.
He pulled it off.
Yeah, that was an amazing promo.
So after commercial break, after that... We come back, and Cody Rhodes and Carmelo Hayes are getting in an argument backstage.
Yeah, but you want to know, this has nothing to do, basically, with that. Why the heck was Giovanni Vinci talking to Carmelo Hayes?
Yeah, they were just... Gio hasn't really done anything.
Except lose to Apollo Crews
since Ludwig really beat him up pretty bad.
Yeah, he lost to Apollo Crews, twice on SmackDown. Yeah. And he hasn't done anything since. But, so... Giovanni Vinci, you think that's going to lead to anything?
Yeah, him being future endeavored.
Yeah, unfortunately. He's good, though.
Yeah, he's
good in the ring.
We'll see him in GCW in a few months. Maybe he'll fight Jinder.
Maybe.
So next was Naomi and Bayley versus Candice and Tiffany.
Oh, nice.
And that ended up in Bayley and Naomi winning by DQ after everybody ran down.
Yeah.
Both teams, we talked about on the Raw, the teams, so.
Yeah, all the War Games team people.
That was really it, and then.
Yeah, nothing really happened.
After that, it was Montez Ford against Tommaso Ciampa.
Oh, yeah, that was It was just like last week. Tommaso was brutal.
Yeah.
Like, he was, like, full out assaulting Montez Ford, like, crazy. And then, what happened at the end of the match? Like, I guess you were going to get
to. Yeah, Montez beat him, and then, because Dawkins made the save.
Yeah.
And then Motor City Machine Guns came down, and Johnny got shoved to the mat.
Again. And then,
by Tommaso.
Well, it was because after, like, Angel Dawkins came out, Johnny came down, and he was like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah.
And he pushed him down, and then they were, like, arguing, and then Motor City Machine Guns came out to help Johnny.
Yeah.
And then wasn't he, like, talking, or no, was this after, didn't he have, like, a backstage segment after that?
I didn't see it yet.
Okay, well, I feel like there was a part on the show where he was, like, talking to Motor City Machine Guns, and he was like, you guys don't even, like, you guys are like that too. Like, you guys are, what do you mean? I don't know, something like that, where he's starting to lose Motor City Machine Gun's trust too.
Yeah.
So I think that DIY should turn heel.
They have to, at this point. Even though Street Profits have more heel antics right now.
Yeah.
They're obviously forcing Ciampa and Gargano to eventually turn heel, I think.
Yeah, I don't think it's time for them to break up. Cause, like,
no, they can't break up again.
And we've seen it too many times.
Yeah, they got to stay together. They both need to turn heel, and I think...
I feel like that'll be very interesting.
Yeah, it'll be cool. Especially with SmackDown moving to 3 hours, they're going to need... Yeah. They're going to be on it every week, basically.
Yeah, so that's, like, the only heel team on SmackDown, right? Besides, like, the Tonga brothers.
Tongas and Pretty Deadly, I think.
That's not, like, they don't even...
No, they're there.
Yeah, they should use them
They're
more.
in catering.
Yeah, they should use them more, you know? Like,
I agree.
Them and Giovanni Vinci, they're just not being used. But, like you said, 3 hours, maybe they'll add them.
And then the final segment of the week was the Bloodline coming out.
So the Bloodline came out, then I'll take it from here, by the way.
Go ahead.
The new Bloodline came out with Bronson Reed, and they basically just called out Roman and the OG Bloodline. So OG Bloodline came down to the ring, and Solo, he was just talking trash to him. And
he wanted him to surrender.
Yeah, he wanted him to surrender because they only have 4 people. And also earlier in the night, Roman said that we don't need a 5th guy.
Yeah, they were gonna go 4 on 5.
It's just gonna be the 4 of us, you know. This line, I love this line. If there's 4 of us, we're 4 brothers. If we die together. Yeah. So, like, I love that line. And so they were getting ready to brawl, just the 4 of them.
They were.
So they were staring each other down.
They were getting ready. They were in the ring, about to fight.
Roman was about to throw some fists, and then, ladies and gentlemen, crowd goes nuts. Yeah. Crowd goes, oh my God, that was amazing. I was like, oh my God. And then he came out, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman. And he said, now I am the wise man of the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. And as I can see, there are 4 versus 5. Now, Survivor Series War Games, you can't have 4 versus 5. And it's not going to be 4 versus 5. It's going to be 5 versus 5.
CM Punk came out.
CM Punk comes out.
Place went
massive
nuts.
Reaction again. I think that's very interesting. But then they just came down, they brawled. And then,
there was a really cool spot where Roman hit the spear, he hit the GTS, and it kind of reminded me of like in like Endgame where like Captain America and Thor were both doing something at the same time, and then like they look over at each other.
Yeah, where they both in with the hammers.
Yeah. And then they looked over. That's kind of how I guess they wanted it to be. And then Roman asked him, "What are you doing here?" And he looked over at Paul's and he said something like, I'm here because of the wise man, or something like that. Yeah,
and they stared down, and then I said to myself, I don't care about Roman versus Rock. I want Roman versus Punk or WrestleMania.
Better match.
Better storyline.
Better story. Makes sense because of Paul Heyman.
Yeah, I think if those are the 2 people who are going to be fighting for the world titles, so or maybe not Roman and Rock. That's probably just going to be that. Yeah. Randy's probably going to fight Cody, but I could see that being the final 2 of the Rumble match, Roman and Punk.
I would love that.
I feel like those 2 are the final 2. Yeah. And then like it's like they do that thing where there's 4 people left. and then they each eliminate one person on each side.
Then they turn around.
And then they turn around, and then they both stare, then they both point at the sign. I feel like that would be awesome. But, I mean, I think it's really good storytelling because at that one episode of SmackDown where it was in Chicago, that was, like, a crazy...
Like June.
That was the week of, like, all the big things.
Yeah.
On Raw that week, the Wyatt 6 came out.
Yeah.
And then Joe Hendry he came out on NXT.
And then Paul.
And then that's when Jacob came out. That was the night Jacob came out.
Wow.
Because in the beginning of the show...
Yeah, that was the end of June.
Yeah, because in the beginning of the show, Punk came out, and Cody came out, and Solo challenged Cody. Yeah. That's when Jacob came out.
And then Paul said to Punk, please take me with you.
Please take me with you. And then he did, eventually.
So,
so what are your thoughts on Punk being the OG Bloodline's last member?
I love it. I think, for one, I think he adds more than if The Rock was in it.
Yeah, definitely. It's just a little mix into it, you know?
Storyline-wise, I would have rather seen The Rock.
Yeah.
Or Seth Rollins, because Seth and Bronson, that was kind of going on.
Yeah.
But
throw you off. That's why the...
Well, yeah. I think that Punk is going to be awesome in War Games.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool that a year later, he's in War Games.
Yeah.
When last year he came out after War Games.
Yeah. I think that's really cool how they did that. But one thing that I saw a bunch of people, like, putting, like, side-by-side pictures of, that's Solo's suit.
I know.
He used to wear that suit. I think he wears a suit similar to that, but Paul has the suit that Solo would wear. I think Paul's turning on the OTC.
Yeah.
But I really don't know because I feel like they could go in a different route where Paul is with Punk.
Yeah.
But I think what they can do is they can do like what they used to do, like back in like 2013, where Paul was with a bunch of guys.
Yeah.
He was with like Curtis Axel,
Ryback,
and like Brock.
And then he came with Cesaro a little bit later on. So
like I feel like he can be with the Bloodline and with Punk. I feel like that would be pretty interesting. But I feel like now Triple H's booking would be like confusing.
Yeah.
Because like the wise man is the wise man.
Yeah.
And he's like loyal to the tribal chief.
Yeah, definitely.
And then he's just the manager. Or didn't they have like a nickname for him when he was with CM Punk or something?
No, maybe.
I feel like they did. Maybe they didn't. I don't know. But yeah. So I think that would be cool. But I guess we'll see. You don't know what's gonna happen.
No, that's the best of Triple H's booking. You never know.
You never know. But
that was SmackDown. Yeah, that was SmackDown. What do you rate it?
That was an amazing show. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. I thought that was that good.
I'm gonna give it 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah.
It wasn't a 5 because
not a 5.
I feel like it was missing like a little something. Yeah. But Paul Heyman's return, the whole card, like the matches were great throughout the night, and no, I give it a 4.5 out of 5. They
did a great job of building storylines.
Yes, they did.
And like especially with the Shinsuke and LA Knight.
Yep.
That's great too. And like they built the women's War Games match like 2 times in one night, which is really cool. They fit in 2 segments for the Bloodline for War Games.
Yeah.
So I think it was a great way enhancing storyline wise.
It was.
So I give it a 4. He gives it a 4.5. So SmackDown wins this week, just like it did last week. All right, guys. Now it is time for the arcade game showcase today, and
very exciting today.
Yeah. So
last week Frankie got to pick. Today I'm picking. I'm going old school.
All right. Wait. So what is it gonna be? I guess they're gonna find out
I'll
right
find
now.
Out.
All right, guys, this is now time for the arcade game segment of the podcast. And as you can see, the game that we are showcasing today, this intro is really cool, by the way.
That's awesome.
The game that we will be showcasing today is WWF WrestleMania 2000. The Nintendo 64 is the console that it came out on. And this is really cool. We're going to skip through that. And there is the logo of WrestleMania 2000 there. And then we're just going to press start, and we're just going to give you a showcase. There's Exhibition, Road to WrestleMania, that's really cool, Pay-Per-View, King of the Ring, Edit, Options, Royal Rumble data, so that's pretty cool. And Chris, you had this game when you were a kid,
I did.
Right?
You just go to the roster, show them.
So, yeah.
Just click on single match.
Singles match.
And then, cool arenas you can choose from.
Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, King of the Ring, Sunday
Slam.
Sunday Night Heat, SummerSlam, Survivor Series. Let's look at the WrestleMania arena since it's called, name is
WrestleMania.
So we'll just look at the roster. We got Stone Cold, The Rock, Triple H, Mankind, Undertaker, Kane, Big Show, and those are the ones. I guess you have to unlock other people in the road to WrestleMania. But this is basically the showcase of WrestleMania 2000 on the Nintendo 64. Now back to the studio. All right, guys, and now it's time for the Rebook It segment of the video. Rebook It. All right, and last week he told me to rebook if Roman Reigns fought Goldberg at WrestleMania 36. This week I am giving him the Rebook It, and what I want you to rebook is if Hulk Hogan didn't leave the WWF in 1992.
Wow.
Now, you don't have to do 93, just the rest of 92.
Just the rest of 92. Yeah. So, Ultimate Warrior comes out at the end of WrestleMania 8. Him and Hulk Hogan stand tall.
Yep.
And then we literally don't see Hulk Hogan again until, I think, January. Yeah. When he came out on Raw. Mm-hmm. Might have even been February.
I think it was February.
February 93. So, he was gone, almost, it was 11 months, we'll say. So, if Hulk Hogan stayed in the WWF, what would happen? Well,
what would be his next feud?
I'd say that his next feud would, they didn't get to it originally, but I say his next feud would have been against Ric Flair. Because obviously Macho Man wins the title at WrestleMania 8.
Yeah.
Sid leaves the company right after WrestleMania 8. It would have maybe been cool if you threw him against Shawn to get
maybe.
Because they were trying to build Shawn at the time, but he wasn't quite there, and then they put him with Brett. Obviously...
But I feel that was perfectly done how they did it with Shawn and Brett.
Yeah, it was. And I know, in 93 it was supposed to be Brett versus Hogan for the world title. And then Hogan didn't want to do the job. That doesn't work for him.
That doesn't work for me, brother.
So, Brett ended up fighting Doink the Clown. And Jerry Lawler. So, I think Hogan would have stayed. I think he would have feuded with Ric Flair.
So, that would be the match at SummerSlam?
Because think about it. At SummerSlam was Macho Man versus Ultimate Warrior.
And
Ric Flair was he was there, he was involved in the main event, but he wasn't doing anything.
Or just Hogan, or no, just Warrior and Savage.
Yeah.
Main event was Bulldog.
Oh, yeah, well, that was for the WWF title, was them.
Yeah.
So I think, why not just, you're overseas, you're in London. Obviously,
you want to have Hogan on.
British Bulldog has to main event in his home country.
Yeah.
So I think I would have put Hogan versus Flair and label it a dream match.
Yeah.
I don't think Hogan would have gone for that because he was literally the main event of everything all the time.
Well, not in 1990. 1990 SummerSlam, he let Warrior do.
Him and Rick Rude in the steel cage. So I don't know if he would have let Brett and Bulldog.
Maybe.
Because at least Warrior had just beaten him for the title, and he was buddies with Rick Rude, and he was a very political person backstage. I don't think it would have flown for him if,
it's not gonna work for me,
if he said, who's going on after me? Bulldog and Bret Hart for the Intercontinental title?
Let's just say it was a perfect world.
In a perfect world, Hogan fights Flair in a dream match in England, and then a bunch of crazy stuff happens between SummerSlam and Survivor Series. But if it didn't, because we're in a perfect world, I would think that Hogan would be part of captain one Survivor Series team while Flair captain the other. And just think of the Survivor Series team of Hogan, Warrior, Macho Man, and then add in anybody, literally anybody.
Now, I know I shouldn't be rebooking it right now, but I did have an idea of what if they did, basically what they did for the main event, it was a 6-man. Yeah. What if they did Hogan, Savage, and Warrior, they were the Ultimate Maniacs, versus Ric Flair, Razor, and Mr. Perfect as a heel with Rick, because he was already
Mr. Perfect would have never had to turn heel. In a perfect world, that would have been awesome. But so Hogan fights Ric Flair at SummerSlam, and then he captains his dream team, basically, at Survivor Series in 1992.
So I think that's pretty good. I think he did a pretty good job.
Thanks.
And then next week, you got another one for me.
Yeah, I'm thinking of them already. I think I got a good one for you.
All right, I'm excited. All right, guys, now we're moving on to the final segment of the podcast. We're doing our top 3 moments of the week. And also, we're not doing 5 segments today because later this week, we will be having a video dropping out on our predictions for Survivor Series, which is happening this upcoming Saturday.
We were going to do it on this episode, but then we realized that they only have 3 matches announced.
So
I think they're going to have more.
Yeah, so when they announce more, we will make the video.
It wouldn't make any sense to do it now because I think there's still some matches left on the table that haven't been announced yet.
So we'll probably put it out on maybe Saturday.
Friday.
Yeah, either Friday or Saturday.
Yeah.
So, so we're going to move on to our top 3 moments of the week. Top 3 moments of the week in professional wrestling. You can go first.
All right, number 3.
What is it?
I liked the opening segment of Raw, the Women's War Games, with Rhea coming back.
That was cool.
It's just something about those. It goes all the way back to WCW when they used to do it, too.
Yeah.
That, I don't know, they're always trying to find the 5th man, or in this case, woman. And I love that, suspense where it's like, oh, maybe it could be him or her. Maybe it could be her. And then it's just like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So that was number 3. Number 2, and you're going to love this one. Big Boom AJ.
Boom!
Bringing the boom last night at Full Gear. Me and Frankie were there live, obviously. Mm-hmm. And I don't know about you, Frankie, but I think that Big Boom AJ got the biggest pop of the night.
Oh, he did. He most certainly did.
And it was... The Rizzler was there, coming out with the big show.
And I'd like to point out, Big Justice has a nasty spear.
I know. Edge better watch out.
Yeah.
And Roman.
and Bob Breaker.
And Rhino. And while we're at it.
And Bobby Lashley. And Goldberg.
Yeah. Just, the guy literally hasn't wrestled in about 20 years.
Yeah.
And he was doing superplexes.
Superplex.
Power bombs. He wrestled a complete match.
Yes.
And you got to give a lot of credit to QT Marshall.
Yeah, he's a great worker.
Because that guy, he worked his tail off to make everybody look good.
Mm-hmm.
So, surprising number 2, but I just had to put it in there because that was a really loud reaction.
Yeah.
When their music started to hit.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
We love the Costco guys.
And you got to love them.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, my number 1 this week was CM Punk coming back.
Yeah.
Just because I wasn't expecting it.
Mm-hmm.
I had read something that he was coming back earlier in the month on Raw. And I'm like, well, he's got nothing to do. Drew isn't there. Seth's with Bronson Reed right now.
Yeah.
He could come back, cut a promo, about him being the best in the world. It would be cool. Everybody would watch it.
The best in the world.
But at least they have something for him. And it was something unsuspecting that nobody knew was going to happen.
No, I didn't.
So those are my 3. What are your top 3 this week?
My number 3 is Howdy kidnapping the Miz.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. Because I just love Uncle Howdy and the Wyatt Six and Bray Wyatt, obviously. 2nd week in a row, I got a Bray Wyatt / Wyatt Six shirt.
Got my
AJ Styles.
Phenomenal one.
Yeah, and I got a new hat this week. I thought I'd bring out the GCW hat.
Great hat.
Yeah, so like I was saying, Uncle Howdy kidnapping the Miz was awesome. That segment was really cool. So that's number 3. Number 2 is just going to Full Gear.
Yeah.
I'm counting that as 1. But the main, my favorite part of the night was definitely Big Boom AJ versus QT Marshall. But I just count the whole experience because just going to wrestling live is just the best
can't beat it.
It's the best thing.
No matter where it's at. It could be at the local gym or the local YMCA, and we'll go.
Yeah.
Because it's wrestling.
We once went to a show and somebody's what was it?
It was a motel parking lot.
Yeah, motel parking lot.
And it was awesome because it was wrestling. And it was live, and you can't beat live wrestling.
Can't beat live wrestling. So just going to Full Gear is my number 2. And then number 1 for me is, like he said, I'm counting Paul Heyman and CM Punk coming back. I'm counting that whole segment as 1. Because I was going nuts when that happened. Because, I really did not expect Paul Heyman.
No, nobody did.
Or CM Punk.
No.
One more thing I wanted to add. I like how they're doing like 2 different people that aren't in like the in the bloodline.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a little like cool.
It is cool.
I kind of would have preferred 4-on-4, you know.
Yeah, but I mean 5-on-5 adds Punk and makes Bronson Reed, gives him a shot to shine, which he should.
Better do a tsunami over the top.
Which I think he's gonna.
Yeah, but we won't talk too much about Survivor Series.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
We'll save that for the video coming out probably like later this
Friday
week.
or Saturday.
Yeah, Friday or Saturday. So
one of those days.
An extra video from us.
Yeah.
So those are our top 3. Mine top 3 were going full gear, or Uncle Howdy kidnapping the Miz, going to full gear, and then Punk and Paul Heyman. And yours were
the Women's War Games build up, Big Boom AJ.
Boom.
And CM Punk coming back.
Yep. So, wrestling this week was pretty good. Raw was pretty decent.
Another good week of wrestling.
Yeah. SmackDown was amazing. And then when we went to Full Gear, it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah, guys, that is episode 2 of the Awesome Wrestling Podcast. And now, too sweet. So, yeah, this is really a fun podcast. Like we said, you're getting an extra video later this week for our Survivor Series predictions. And, so that's it. I'm Frankie.
I'm Chris.
And we are signing out. Peace.